Helltown, Ohio, most haunted town in America. Tucked away in the dense forests of Ohio, a place exists that few dare to tread, a forsaken expanse where the trees seem to murmur ancient warnings. Roads vanish into desolate dead ends, and whispers of ghostly apparitions, shadowy government experiments, and sinister rituals have haunted sleepless nights for decades. This is Helltown, an abandoned village so steeped in infamy that even the most daring urban explorers pause before crossing its cursed threshold. Locals speak of a town mysteriously evacuated by the government, leaving behind crumbling homes, eerie churches, and a palpable dread that something unnatural still lurks in the darkness. Some claim a toxic chemical spill poisoned the land, birthing monstrous creatures. Others murmur of satanic cults and a chilling government cover-up that silence the truth. But what truly unfolded in Helltown, and why does it endure as one of America's most terrifying ghost towns? Scene 2. The Rise and Fall of Boston Mills. The story of Helltown begins in 1806, when Boston Township, Summit County's oldest settlement, took root along the Ohio and Erie canals. Before that, the Lenape and Shawnee tribes thrived in the Cuyahoga Valley, their lives upended by settlers who forced them out in the 1700s, claiming the land for their own. Named after the Boston Land Company, the village of Boston Mills grew into a bustling hub of mills, railroads, and resilient families. Nestled between Cleveland and Akron, it became a cornerstone of the region by the early 20th century, a quaint community of a few hundred souls, sustained by the land and the nearby Cuyahoga River. The town boasted a school, a church, and a sense of timeless stability. But that stability shattered in 1974, when President Gerald Ford signed legislation to create the Cuyahoga Valley National Recreation Area, a move to preserve Ohio's natural beauty. The National Park Service began acquiring properties under eminent domain, compelling residents to sell their ancestral homes with little choice or compensation. By the late 1970s, Boston Mills stood deserted, its streets silent, its buildings left to decay, and its people scattered, their lives uprooted by a government vision that left only echoes behind. Scene 3. A resident's heartbreak in the exodus. Among those displaced was Clara Thompson, a 45-year-old widow whose life had been woven into the fabric of Boston Mills. Born in a modest farmhouse her grandfather built in 1890, she raised 3 children there, working at the local school. Her evenings were spent knitting by the fire, the gentle hum of the Cuyahoga River a constant companion. But when the National Park Service arrived in 1974, she faced an unyielding demand to leave. Her pleas, her savings, and her desperate requests for more time met with cold indifference. As resident Mary Johnson recalled in a 1975 interview with the Akron Beacon Journal, "They gave us nothing but promises and took everything we had." Clara was given mere weeks to pack, and on her final day, she painted a message on her wall. "Now we know how the Indians felt," a haunting parallel to the forced displacement of Native Americans centuries before. She relocated to Akron, her children struggling to adapt, her heart fractured by the loss of her home. Her story mirrors the silent grief of countless others, underscoring the human toll of Helltown's abandonment. Scene 4. The birth of Helltown's dark nickname. How did Boston Mills transform into Helltown? The ominous moniker emerged in the 1980s as the village languished in abandonment, a hollow shell of its former self. The Park Service's plan to demolish homes faltered, some structures stood vacant for over a decade, inviting vandals, thrill-seekers, and whispers of the unknown. Barricades marked "Road Closed" and "No Trespassing" signs littered the area, fueling speculation of a government cover-up. Locals began calling it Helltown, a name that clung like a shadow as rumors multiplied. Was the evacuation truly for a park, or did a darker agenda lurk beneath the surface? The desolate streets, the boarded-up Mother of Sorrows church with its upside-down cross, a structural feature mistaken for a satanic symbol, and the overgrown Boston cemetery became the backdrop for a legend that grew more sinister with each passing year. Helltown wasn't merely abandoned, it became a canvas for humanity's deepest fears. Scene 5. The Satanic Cult Conspiracy. Among the darkest tales to emerge is the claim that Helltown became a sanctuary for satanic cults after its evacuation. Locals spoke of unsettling activity at the Mother of Sorrows church, describing candles flickering behind boarded windows. They reported shadowy figures draped in black robes and chants reverberating through the night. Some even alleged human sacrifices, tying the rituals to the town's abrupt abandonment. The church's upside-down cross fueled these rumors, though historians confirm it was a design choice, not a sign of devil worship. No evidence supports the cult narrative, no police reports, no bodies unearthed, but the story endures, amplified by vandalism and the town's haunting emptiness. Did a cult truly thrive in Helltown's shadows, or was this a projection of dread onto a place left to rot? Scene 6. The Haunted School Bus Mystery. In the depths of Helltown's woods, another legend took hold. A rusted school bus, abandoned since the evacuation, now said to harbor the ghosts of murdered children. The story claims a serial killer lured the bus off its route, slaughtering everyone inside. Their screams, it said, still echo on moonless nights. In some tellings, a shadowy figure, the killer's lingering spirit, sits at the back, smoking a cigarette, his eyes glowing as he watches intruders. Others whisper that attempts to move the bus ended in accidents, as if it's bound by a curse. In reality, it's merely an old bus, likely left behind during the 1970s exodus. Park rangers have found no record of such a crime, yet visitors report an unshakable unease, claiming they hear whispers or glimpse childlike figures in the windows. Is this a genuine haunting, or the power of suggestion in a place so drenched in dread? Scene 7. The Peninsula Python, Chemical Spill Cover-Up, and Government Cover-Ups. Another chilling tale speaks of the Peninsula Python, a mutant snake said to slither through Helltown's forests, born from a chemical spill that forced the town's evacuation. This legend points to the Crybaby dump, a nearby site where toxic waste was uncovered in the 1980s, years after the 1974 exodus. Storytellers claim the spill birthed a monstrous python, its scales glowing, its hiss a warning to intruders. Some even speculate the government evacuated Boston Mills to conceal the disaster, or perhaps to hide secret military experiments whispered about in local lore, though no evidence ever surfaced. The timeline, however, disproves the evacuation theory. The dump's exposure came later, and the National Park Service confirms the cleanup was unrelated. No mutant snakes have been documented, though the dump's real contaminants, like arsenic and benzene, posed genuine health risks. The python story may be fiction, but it reflects a deeper fear. What else might the government have concealed in Helltown's woods? Beyond the chemical spill, some online theories suggest the government conducted secret operations in Helltown's woods, possibly military experiments with biological agents or advanced weaponry, hidden under the guise of the 1974 Park Project. Whispers claim the sudden evacuation and restricted access were to erase evidence of failed tests or a containment breach, with the Crybaby dump later used as a convenient distraction. Yet no official records or first-hand accounts support these claims, leaving them as tantalizing but unproven shadows in Helltown's history. Scene 8. Crybaby Bridge and Ghostly Echoes. Helltown's Crybaby Bridge adds yet another layer of hauntings to its lore. Tucked along a quiet road in the Cuyahoga Valley, the bridge is said to be cursed by the spirit of a baby who perished there. Some say the child was thrown by a desperate mother, others claim an accident. Drivers report hearing an infant's cries at midnight, and some find tiny white handprints on their cars after parking beneath. This tale is part of a broader Crybaby Bridge myth across the US, with no historical evidence linking a death to this specific spot. Visitors often hear the wind whistling through the trees, mistaking it for whales, and the handprints are likely condensation or smudges. Yet the story persists, a testament to Helltown's ability to transform ordinary places into portals of fear. Could there be a sliver of truth, or is this another fabrication born from the town's eerie reputation? Scene 9: Modern Ghost Hunters and Investigations. Today, Helltown, now absorbed into the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, draws ghost hunters and paranormal investigators seeking answers. Groups like the Ohio Exploration Society have documented orbs and cold spots in the Boston Cemetery. In 2008, they captured an EVP, a voice whispering, "Leave now." They also report a ghostly figure sitting on a bench, waiting for a family that never returns. In 2017, the Travel Channel's Helltown special dramatized the legends, inventing Wendigo attacks and cult shootouts, later admitting its events were fictional. Park rangers maintain the hauntings are myths, attributing most phenomena to natural causes like wind, animals, or light reflections. Yet the absence of definitive proof keeps the mystery alive. Ghost hunters depart with more questions than answers, their EMF detectors buzzing, their minds racing. Did they capture evidence of the supernatural or merely the echoes of a town's tragic past? Scene 10: The Environmental and Cultural Legacy. Beyond the hauntings, Helltown's story carries a sobering warning about environmental neglect. The Crybaby dump, operational from the 1940s to 1980s, was a legal dumping ground for industrial waste, including paint sludge, acids, and heavy metals. When its dangers were exposed in the 1980s, the EPA declared it a Superfund site, launching a decades-long cleanup costing over $50 million, completed in 2015. The dump's proximity to Helltown, though not the cause of the evacuation, fueled fears of contamination, with some residents reporting health issues like respiratory problems before leaving. Today, the site is safe, repurposed as parkland, but it stands as a reminder of how human actions can scar a landscape, giving rise to legends like the Peninsula Python. Culturally, Helltown's influence endures. The 2011 horror film The Dead Matter drew inspiration from its eerie vibe, and TikTok creators like at Haunted Ohio explore the site, amassing thousands of views. The Boston Cemetery and remaining trails attract visitors, a testament to how fear shapes a place's identity even after demolition. Scene 11, Conclusion: A town shrouded in mystery. So, what is Helltown, Ohio? A town abandoned for a national park, its residents displaced by a government mandate, its streets left to decay until nature took over? Or a haunted hotspot, cursed by the spirits of its past, hiding cults, ghosts, and monsters in its woods? The truth lies somewhere in between. Boston Mills was uprooted by policy, not poison or paranormal forces, but its emptiness birthed a legend that refuses to die. The Satanic cults, the haunted bus, the Crybaby Bridge, they're likely myths, born from fear and imagination, yet the stories persist, drawing visitors to a place that no longer exists. Clara Thompson never returned to Boston Mills, but her descendants visit the park today, searching for traces of her lost home, a bittersweet connection to a vanished past. Was there ever a darker secret, Or are we just haunted by the idea of what might have been? Helltown's mystery endures, a puzzle with no final piece. What do you think? Is Helltown truly haunted, or a cautionary tale of abandonment? Share your theories in the comments below. Here on Legends Unveiled, we explore the mysteries, myths, and unsolved cases that captivate the world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another dive into the unknown right here on Legends Unveiled.